Today, we're going to see a genuinely remarkable book with an extraordinary story. It is a handwritten and hand-illustrated copy of the Bible that's nearly 800 years old. And not only that, it's just returned to the cathedral where it was made, nearly 8 centuries after its creation. So in this video, we're going to drive down to Salisbury, discover how this amazing Bible returned home, speak to the librarian whose care it is now in, and then at the end, see this remarkable manuscript with our own eyes. But first things first, we need to drive down to Salisbury. It's first thing in the morning here, and it'll be a couple of hours to get down there. And we're going to go and pick Sienna up on the way because she might be even more excited about this Bible than I am. So I've just picked up Sienna, so we can now drive down to Salisbury. It'll be a couple of hours to get there. But first, I think we need some coffee to get properly excited for the day ahead. Sienna, why are you excited about going down and seeing the book today?
As a medievalist, anything to do with medieval Bibles, manuscripts, just automatically gets me excited. But this one in particular, because it's gone back to where it was produced, I think there's just something so special about it. And I've also never been to Salisbury before, so I'm really excited to go.
Yeah.
It's been on my bucket list of places to go visit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a real homecoming, and there's something, I guess, very romantic about that. The idea of a book returning to where it was made, and also not just any book, a beautifully and richly illuminated Bible that, I mean, we've both seen pictures of, and that's been enough to get us excited, but we've never seen this book in the flesh. And it hasn't been on public display before, ever. It's been in private hands for nearly 1,000 years, and we get to go and see it today. So we've made it, we've just got to Salisbury Cathedral. I can see the spire just poking out from the trees behind me.
and just before we go in, we thought we'd talk to you more about how this amazing Bible has come home after 800 years.
So the Bible has been in private hands as long as we have a recorded history of it. It's come up in auction records and in booksellers' catalogues at different times in the last century or so. But last summer, it came up for sale at auction at Sotheby's with an estimate of £100,000 to £150,000. And at short notice, no bidders were forthcoming. So what happened after the sale was there was a campaign set up by Friends of the Nation's Libraries, which is a charity that we're both very supportive of, to try and raise £90,000 in 90 days to bring the Bible home to Salisbury. And now we're about to go inside the cathedral, meet the librarian Anne Dutton, in whose care this Bible now is, and then see the Bible for ourselves. So Anne, can you tell us a bit about the Sarum Master?
The Sarum Master as a person?
Yes.
Well, actually, I can't tell you anything about the Sarum Master as a person because there is no documentary evidence. We have no details about the artist's life, but there is considerable evidence that he or she was working in Salisbury during the 1240s and 1250s, illuminating and decorating manuscripts.
Could you talk to me more about how many people were working on this Bible and what evidence that there is suggests that there were more than one hand?
Certainly for the Sarum Master Bible and in some of the other manuscripts illustrated by the Sarum Master, it's very clear that the artist is working with assistants. It's very clear that a number of the historiated initials, so those initials that have human figures in them, those are done by the Sarum Master, and some of the decorated initials and other historiated initials are done by assistants. This isn't just the case of a single artist illustrating manuscripts. No, there's a workshop, and therefore, if there is a workshop, it tells us about the demand for books in Salisbury.
So do we know who the Bible was made for?
Unfortunately, we don't know who the original owner was. The book, as you know, is very small. It's much too small to have been used in church services. Therefore, it would have been used as a private, as a devotional book, as a private book, as a devotional book. We can safely assume, though, that whoever commissioned the book would have been a very wealthy individual.
And what do we know about its ownership since that original commission nearly 800 years ago?
So far as we know, it's always been in private ownership. Most of the evidence that we have indicates that it was in England. Certainly it was in England in the 16th century. It was still in England in the 18th century. Most recently, it was in a private collection in Switzerland, and it returned to England in the summer, last summer, for auction at Sotheby's. Unfortunately for the vendors, but fortunately for us, it didn't sell at auction. And then the Friends of the Nations Libraries became involved. The Friends of the Nations Libraries really wanted to see the manuscript return to Salisbury after nearly 800 years, to return to the city where it had been made. Friends of the Nations Libraries ran a fundraising campaign last November and December to raise the necessary money, which they did. It was a very successful fundraising campaign. They purchased the manuscript and they donated it to us. It arrived at the cathedral just before Christmas, and I can honestly tell you that it was the most spectacular Christmas present that I have ever unwrapped. It didn't come on Christmas paper. Perhaps it would have been even more exciting if it had come wrapped up in red paper with a bow. It came wrapped in bubble wrap, but it was the most spectacular Christmas present I have ever had the pleasure to unwrap.
That is amazing.
The colours are amazing.
But the blue and the red, I mean, the blue and the red,
Extraordinary,
they are, and the clarity of the image. I do wonder, how did artists do that? Are we talking a paintbrush with a single hair?
Yes.
You know, I really don't know.
Because it's so incredibly fine.
It is.
The detail is squeezed in to such a small couple of centimetres.
That
Is all
initial is
initial
2.2 centimetres.
Yeah. And yet we get so much personality
So much detail.
and movement.
Yes,
And
his clothes, the fact that he's holding a pen, and it's recognisably a quill pen, a penknife, he's holding the page down with the penknife. I just wonder how easily people read it.
Yeah.
Tiny handwriting, no spectacles, no electric lighting. How comfortable was this? How easy was this to read? I just think it's wonderful that the manuscript has come home after nearly 800 years. I don't know if you're keen on football, and if so, I apologise, but never mind the football coming home. The manuscript has come home.